YouTube, it's Louise the Big Head Bookworm. Lovely to see you. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day wherever it is you are and whatever it is you're doing. I am taking the opportunity of a stunningly gorgeous day to record a little book haul. I haven't done a book haul in a while because I haven't been getting as many books as I used to, so I don't gather them. Also, I do a weekly video which is called Friday Reads, which goes up every Friday, and I tend to show any books that I have recently received in that weekly format. But I have gathered a few books that I haven't shown you, and I got 5 in this past week, and so I wanted to show you those anyway. And I thought, I haven't done a little haul for ages, so let's do a haul. Let's do a book haul. And here we go. The first books that I'm going to show are from my mother-in-law. So I believe she's read all of these and then has passed them along to me. The first 3 are thrillers, and I haven't had a good new thriller for ages, so I was very pleased to see these. The first one is The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. Now, I did have a comment on Friday Reads by somebody saying, what do you think about the A.J. Finn business? And I was like, I hadn't heard about it, so I went and had a look on the internet. I'd seen the book knocking about and had considered whether I would get it, although I did wonder whether it is taking Woman on the Train, is taking that kind of idea. But then that, again, is an old idea. If you think about the film Rear Window, which is one of my favourite Hitchcocks ever. And I wonder if it's that, because it sounds like it is somebody who is agoraphobic and sees something, agoraphobic and doesn't want to leave their house, which is a horrific condition. So it's that kind. I wonder if it's starting with that kind of idea and that she sees something from her window. So the business about A.J. Finn is he is a writer that was an editor for various. If this is what I've gathered, is that he was a writer who was an editor for various big name publishers, and it sounds like he wasn't entirely truthful. Was talking about that he was a cancer survivor when he wasn't, as in he never had it, and had lost family members in fairly horrific circumstances when they were still alive. So, and spoke about his credentials when perhaps they weren't his credentials. So I think because he's suddenly become this big name writer, people have looked into his background and gone, hey, you're not who you say you are. He has come forward and said, yes, he did say these things. It sounds like he's quite a troubled gentleman. So for somebody to... I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to cast judgment on the chat because I don't know what's been going on. But for somebody to be saying these things sounds like there's quite a complicated mental life going on there, and I wouldn't like to suggest what was happening. But I probably wouldn't have bought the book, but now I've got it, but passed by the mother-in-law, I probably am going to read it. So that's The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. The other one she got was Michael Connelly, Dark Sacred Night, which is the new Ballard and Bosch thriller. Now, I used to read Harry Bosch books by Michael Connelly when they first came out. So when the first, I don't know how many he's written now, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. So I read them absolutely as they came out from when he first started publishing, and he must have done 20, 30 of them. And then somewhere along the line, I lost the track. I think it was around the Lincoln Lawyer. Oh no, I have read The Overlook. But I haven't read anything after that. No, I haven't read The Brass Verdict. Anyway, so I haven't read, it's non-fiction, I haven't read The Lincoln Lawyer, and I've only read one since then. So I've kind of read about half of Michael Connelly's enormous backlist. But this sounds like it is a start of a new partnership, and I thought I'd give that a go. So that's Dark Sacred Night. And the other one is Peter May's The Man with No Face. So this is a reissue by Peter May. I have read The Fire Maker by Peter May, which is a China thriller. So this is The Man with No Face, which is set in 1979 in Brussels. It was a reissue. Apparently it was the third book he wrote, and when his publisher came to him and suggested reissuing it, he read it back, and he obviously has made some alterations, but he said actually it's quite apposite that it should come out now, considering all the shenanigans that are going on with England and with Britain and the Brexit vote, and trying to discover, because this is about, it takes place with the vote, well, the repercussions of the vote to go into the single market. So this is quite interesting that it's now about all the shenanigans about leaving the single market and leaving the EU. So I thought that's going to be really quite interesting. I have started it. I only started it last night, and I've read 40 pages before I fell asleep. And then the other book, which I've actually borrowed off my mother-in-law, and I will be giving this back, is I Am, which is the Zoe Ball book club on ITV, and it was part of an buy one, get one free, get one half price book. So Maggie O'Farrell, I have read in her past, I have read in her fiction, Instructions for a Heat Wave, and After You'd Gone, which is her first book. I seem to remember reading that ages ago. This is a non-fiction book. It is a type of memoir. She has had 17 brushes with death, and this is talking about it. And I've quite fancied reading it for ages, because it sounds intriguing as to why somebody would have that many brushes to death with death. And she's not 177. She is still quite a young lady. Saying that because I think she's around my age. Husband's just made me a coffee, so I'm drinking that. So that was from the mother-in-law. So thank you very much. I'm going to be reading those. I don't know whether she wants them back. If not, I shall be keeping them for a while. That's all that I have for fiction. I'm now going to have to go on to my non-fiction reads. This again was a present, but this was a present from the husband. White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism, by Robin DiAngelo. So I thought that was quite a fascinating book. I had been talking about white privilege and white fragility with the husband, and trying to understand the new vocabulary that is out, new to me, not new to everybody else, but new to me, vocabulary about white privilege, what white privilege actually is, unconscious biases, which I can kind of understand, but it's how does it apply in view with racism? And he found this book, which I had heard about, and I had thought about buying it. Oh, I've got a cat here. I had thought about buying it, but when he sent it to me as a present. So when we were on holiday, he bought it to be delivered at home. So when I came home, I had a present. I had a present here. So there we go. So that's that. I bought this on holiday, Lab Girl, A Story of Trees and Science and Love by Hope Jahren. That's it, Hope Jahren. This is again, it's a memoir, so I'm very into my memoirs, and it is a different type of memoir. She is a scientist, and it's about how her passion for science has shaped her life and who she is, and her upbringing and her developments in science, and how research works, and the kind of funding, even the funding and the politics and the sexual politics of it, and discrimination and hope, considering it's hope, and passion for her science mainly. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating about botany. It is fascinating about trees and plants, and it just is amazing. I have actually already read it, as you can tell. So I picked it up because I loved the cover. I actually got it in the Eden Project down in Cornwall, which is pretty apposite. Again, it's pretty perfect for this. And I'd had remembered I'd wanted it when it first came out, and seen all the kind of, there was a lot of buzz about it at the time, that it was a book about botany, a serious book about botany that was full of science, but it was very accessible for somebody who isn't a scientist. And it just, it's brilliant. It's really good. So I picked that up, and I started it pretty much the next day and was brilliant. Going along the plant theme, I bought this. This is a reissue by Ruth Binney, Plant, Lore and Legend. It was first published by Ryden Publishing, which I believe is a very small publisher, and this has now been republished by Dover in this beautiful naked hardback, and it is very much what you would imagine it is. It's all the old tales of what folklore and tales about different plants, where they came, where that idea came from. It's very short, 1 page, 2 page little bits of information. It isn't a magical recipe book or anything like that. It is very much just about the folklore and understanding where the folklore came from in little bite-sized chunks. So that is Plant, Lore and Legend, and that's me and it are just too white. You can't really see it, but there we are. It's a beautiful book. I've started dipping into it. It's not one that you can sit and read cover to cover. It's one that you are going to just dip into and have it as a book, a reference book that you'll keep on looking at. This is a book that you probably could read cover to cover. It's Speaking with Nature, Awakening to the Deep Wisdom of the Earth by Sandra Innerman and Lynn Roberts. So Sandra Innerman, I have many of her books. She is a shaman, a shamanistic teacher, thought leader. She's amazing. I don't know how many of her, I can't see how many books she's done. I think she's done 8 books. And I think I have, if I don't have all 8 of them, I have the majority of them. It is looking at different aspects, such as blackberry plant and wild rose, glacial silt and sand, snowy owls, just to give you a few ideas. And it is ways of connecting with them in a spiritual way and looking at the teachings, and it talks about how they do it and how you might, little tips and tricks and ceremonies that you might do to see how you connect to the deep wisdom of the earth and the divine feminine. So if you're into that kind of stuff, this is a wonderful book. I have started to read it. Very much the introductions to hear how the book actually came together and how they imagined it would come into being, and then how the process worked. So that's all I've read so far, but I'm looking forward to deep diving into deep wisdom and being inspired by that. And on a lighter note, this is a book that we got for Benedict. He chose, Benedict is our 10-year-old son, and this is a book that he chose, and we are currently reading this as our book at bedtime. It is Murder Most Unladylike by Robin Stevens. It is a murder most unladylike mystery. I believe that there are 4 out, and they all have covers as stunningly beautiful as this one. There's been a rather shocking murder at Deepdene School for Girls, and it is written in that tone. It is a murder mystery written by Hazel Wong, Detective Society Secretary, age 13, begun Tuesday the 30th of October 1934. So it has, it's actually the period which I love to read about, and it has that tone. It is very arch and knowing. Completely suitable for my son's 10, and it's completely suitable for him. It has a bit of thread, it has a bit of scare, but nothing that is too upsetting, because he can get easily discombobulated by a book. But this, so far, we're both loving it, and we're on chapter 5 so far, and it's just glorious. I would sit and read it and gollop it down in one sitting, but I'm promised I won't. I promised I won't read ahead. So that is our new favourite bedtime book for those that like bedtime books. So let me show you the obligatory. I might have to rock the table a bit because you're on the table. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm not sure how good these sunny days are actually for recording, because I'm so white with white hair. I kind of fade into the background in this room. Probably need a bit of colour or something. Anyway, let me show you the books. Da-da-da-da, there we go. Those are all the titles. And I hope that there's something there that tickles your fancy or you've not heard about or you're interested in. Let me know what you think and what you're reading at the moment. This has been lovely BookTube. Let's do it again.